This past weekend, I was lucky enough to attend the GOA Leadership Summit in Knoxville, Tennessee. I was able to catch up with Nick Freitas. Nick has been a member of the Virginia House of Delegates since 2016. He is also a former Green Beret and combat veteran with 2 deployments to Iraq. He is a husband, father of 3, and the host of Making the Arguments podcast. He is also the host of The Why Minutes on YouTube. You can catch him on YouTube, where he has multiple videos and shorts. He has also been a recent guest on The Sean Ryan Show and a contributor to multiple news outlets over the years. Here with Nick at the GOA Summit. So just going to ask Nick a couple questions about his leadership. What outcomes would you like to see from this leadership summit?
I think as we look at this issue, it's a controversial one for a lot of people, unfortunately. And so what I hope we're going to do is a couple of things. One is help equip people with the sort of arguments that will actually be effective for a broad audience, not just the people here. We're convinced, right? How do we convince people of the importance of this to people that are at least willing to listen? So I think that's really key. The other thing that's very important about this is networking. Depending on where you live, like if you're coming here from New York City, you're probably feeling a little bit isolated in the world.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's good to find your people.
And so I'm from Michigan.
Yeah, this is a good place to find your people and do that. So those 2 things I think would be really important for this.
Okay. And then since all the people here are leaders in some way, shape, or form, what do you feel is important to instill into the next generation of Second Amendment leaders coming up?
I don't think you're a real leader unless you're training your replacement, right? Like, so if you're the single point of failure, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And one of the things I love about GOA, one of the things I love about a lot of the people you're going to see here is they want to bring up the next generation of leaders. They want the next generation of leaders to be better, more articulate, more effective than they were.
Yeah.
And so that's such a key component of leadership that, sure, there are people that are capable of leading in and of themselves, but if you're not creating a firm foundation for someone to follow on after you, you've really failed.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I think GOA does a great job of that. I think a lot of the people you're going to see here do a great job of that.
Yeah. And then finally, what characteristics as a leader in this community or in the political community do you want to be known for once you're done?
A word we do not use enough is honor. I always want to be seen as honorable. I'd love to be seen as honorable by honest opponents. But in order to be honorable, you have to be trustworthy. You have to be dedicated, and you have to be brave. You have to be, and I'm not talking about bravery in the way we see it now, where everything's stunning and brave.
Yeah.
I'm talking about demonstrating courage when it can cost you something, and you don't know what the outcome will be. One of the things I tell people all the time is, if you're only willing to fight if you're guaranteed victory, I can't use you.
Right.
I can't use you. Nothing's guaranteed this side of heaven. And so what I would tell people to do is surround yourself with the sort of people, the sort of leaders, be the sort of leaders that have made up in your mind you're going to fight for what you believe to be true, for what you believe to be honorable, even if you're the only one that does it, even if it's at great cost. Because that is the sort of people that inspires courage in others. And so I think that's what I would like to be known for. We'll see what happens.
Excellent. All right, and then this is a fun question.
Yeah.
You are known for the gift of gab and being super smooth with your content. How many takes to do your reels? How many takes does it take for you to get it smooth?
It depends. Sometimes I walk out there and it's just one and done, baby. Sometimes I walk out there and I'm like, I nailed this. And I go in and I show my wife Tina and she's like, eh. I'm like, gosh dang it. And I walk back out there. So I've had several that, 2 or 3, like, gosh dang it, the cat got in there, or whatever it was, right? And we're good to go. I've had others where I'm on my 20th take because I keep getting tongue-tied or something like that. But, so...
The cowboy hat was one and done, right?
The cowboy, I think, was 2. I went and I showed Tina, and she's like, yeah, I like the cowboy hat. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Again, if my wife likes it, that's usually a pretty good indicator.
Cool. All right, Nick, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Nick, his wife Tina, and their camera guy Cody for being so gracious with their time this past weekend. Stay tuned. I'm going to be doing an in-depth video response to the answers that Nick gave me around the topic of leadership. So I hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned.